Thompson and Mindy Wyatt, I'd like to welcome Alva.
Bravo, bravo.
So Angelina, I'm going to jump in with a question about playing Maria. Okay. And playing Maria in all different ages, in all different presentations of Maria. It's like she has different characters wherever she goes. Talk about that.
Okay. First of all, it's very exciting to be here. This is a wonderful. This is feels like home. So thank you for being here. She did literally. She did play so many characters. I think the character I went for first, and many of you will understand this, is I thought we all know her. We've seen her on stage, and we've seen pictures of her. And when we did the camera test, I wanted to find the older her first, the her that was without everything else. And we found her glasses and her little robe and her little nightgown. And I found this very fragile Greek woman who had faith and loneliness, and I just loved her. I fell in love with her. And then I learned how she created characters on top of that, right? Because she and I were doing the same thing. She was becoming Tosca. She was becoming the public Maria Callas. She was becoming, but she was who I had to find first because she wasn't known yet.
And she's also someone else when she's at home in this wonderful Paris apartment with you, Bruna. Talk about how that Maria interacted with you and what you were doing with her.
Yes. Hi, everyone.
I can say only one thing, that I found the truth of Bruna thanks to Maria, thanks to Angelina, because she was so involved in the character. She was Maria. So we arrived in this apartment in Budapest, which was Paris somehow. It was magically. No, really, we were somewhere else in Budapest, but I had the feeling, because we were in Paris, and then I entered in this house and I found Maria Callas. No, now I know Angelina, but I met Maria, and immediately the reaction that I have as a character found the ground, the basis, the truth, and I started to build my Bruna, thanks to you. No, it's the truth. Because it's beautiful to say, but it's the reality.
So, but how did you and Peter Francesco and Angelina, how did you find that dynamic that the three of you had inside the apartment?
Very strange. It was as natural as you mentioned, because I felt the same way. It was so wonderful to discover that when I read so much about how lonely Maria was and how much she'd been attacked from critics and life and people and alone, and then I realized she had Bruna, she had Francesco. They were there. And they were two people to this day. He's alive. He's never written a book about her, told nasty things about her. They were friends. And I was so happy she had them. And then I met these two wonderful people, artists, but people who had that kind of love and support as people. And we became a family. And when I would have to do something really difficult, I would feel their support just not so dissimilar to the same relationship, right? And when I was being completely insane, I knew that they were, finding it like, well, this is our crazy family, and here she goes again. And that was kind of, there was freedom to be what we all needed to be, because there was a lot of love and respect under it all. And yeah, I'd like to believe that the real three was very similar.
I think there were.
So did you do rehearsals?
We should pretend. I was in love with the dogs. I'll say that. I was sent to singing, opera, Italian, and dog rehearsal.
And I did omelette.
Yes.
Hey, that's true. Cook an omelet while she's singing to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you learned the flip, and then you got the double flip. It's very impressive.
So I want to know more. I know this is geeky. I want to know more about the apartment, the details of it, the set, all the different little props and the clothes and everything that is in there.
Everybody, Pablo is such an amazing director, and the whole team, everyone was there was so much research and respect. So everybody loved it. They were excited about things that we would find about her, or things that she did when we were recreating. But there was a lot of love and fun and freedom. The apartment, they found an old place in a building, and they recreated the whole apartment so we could live in the apartment, which I think makes such a difference. It wasn't in a soundstage, and it wasn't one room at a time. We could hang out and move around and be in our kitchen and be in the bedroom, and it was home, and that does make all the difference.
So your character, Maria, is taking a lot of drugs. She's got a cocktail thing going. And you guys are all aware of it, and she's like lying to you the whole time, and so why were those drugs so important for Maria? What was their purpose, their real purpose?
Well, from what I understand, she had many very serious health issues. When she talks about being a purple frog and being swamped, she did something very real. She took steroids. She had to take lots of medication. She was sick often and missed performances because she was sick, and sometimes she'd miss performances and people would throw things at her and call her names, and she was actually sick. She also couldn't see. We looked at those prescriptions and we talked to an optometrist, and he said this woman was almost blind. So you realize then this young girl goes into a conservatoire and she needs to prove that she's the best and she can be on stage and she can't say, and I need my glasses, please. Right? So she memorizes everything. And there's an interview where she says, well, I couldn't see the conductor. So Maria probably couldn't even see the expression of the actor across the stage. So what she had to memorize, what she had to do what she did was exceptional. But she had a lot of people in her life that were unkind to her. Her mother was very unkind to her. She had very few people who were, when she was at her top, people were nice to her, and if she just failed a little bit, she was sued, she was attacked. La Scala sued her mother, the critics of her last, she went to try to sing again, and they were so unbelievable. We can look it up. They're so unbelievably mean. So I think, yes, towards the end of her life, I think she was doing drugs. It was the 70s. But because I remember realizing that Mandrix is Quaaludes.
Yeah.
So she was, and I did find it kind of interesting that, Stephen, that they think of what would Maria see, and this is what she would imagine, or the liking. But a lot of it was, I think, to escape the pain and to try to, make some sense of all that she was going through, really.
I wondered how much of it was about trying to sing again, like really pumping herself up at a risk of really losing her health.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's there's a lot of truth to that. She knew that her body was very, very fragile, and she knew when she pushed herself that she had a weak heart. She knew her diseases. So yes, it's not a huge stretch to say that her deciding to push was dangerous for her, but it was her life. It was her. It was what she lived for.
So Mandrax, is that what it's called? Yeah. So that allowed you, the character, to be interviewed and to tell a whole other story, to go back in time. That was a great way to structure the screenplay.
Stephen Knight.
So how did Pablo approach you on the subject of having to sing? What was it? Some of it was a little, some of it was a lot. I mean, you didn't know, right, how far you would have to go at the beginning?
Sure, well, at the beginning, and I think you all understand this, and the director says, can you sing? And you say, and then you think, God, I can't sing, but it's movie singing, right? So it'll be okay. And then you start to realize, then I started to realize that Pablo grew up on opera. And he said to me, I can't stand it when I see people fake sing, and I can't sing, and especially opera, you can't fake opera because every part of your throat, every movement of your mouth is so specific, and so, you know, you will be singing. And he said, I've met a few different coaches, you're gonna start with this singing coach, you're gonna start with breathing, you're gonna start this, then you're gonna do Italian for a few months to get all of it down perfectly, her accent was perfect. Then you're gonna do opera for 4 more months until you can. But you know, what a gift. That's what we love to be able to perform, right? I had 7 months of classes with extraordinary people. How lucky am I?
Yeah.
So in that wonderful scene with the omelet, you're singing badly, right? Are you? And you're lying to her that she sings wonderfully. So tell us, explain how some of it's your voice and some of it is not your voice.
Well, it's a mix. It's funny, somebody said to me the other day, and they thought they were being rude to me. They said, so when it's like singing badly, it's more you. And I said, if I'm accepted as a bad Maria Callas, so yes, it is more me when she's in these later stages of her life and not in her prime. But you know, so
Sorry about that.
no. Like I said, I'm thrilled. But so it was a percentage. So we would mix it all together. They would mix it in post. But they said to me the only way to mix the voice, the only way to do this, which was also news to me as it would slowly happen, was because I thought, okay, I'll sing along with her, and then I'll record like secretly in a box somewhere. And then they said, no, in order to get every breath, in order for it to match things, so you're gonna hear her. And we can hear the piano, and we can hear things, but nobody else in the room can hear it. And the only thing they're gonna hear is you. And yeah, even when I'm flipping omelets. Right? I had to just be singing to it was insane. It was so insane that it was every fear of mine, every insecurity, just there was nothing you could do. You just have to jump.
So you got to sing full arias, right? Did they use everything you did?
No. We did, because when even you see a piece of Tosca, we did the whole aria on stage. We did the whole performance, we did the whole thing, and then we just used a piece. But we performed that whole piece. It's somewhere.
So, what was your relationship to opera? Well, both of you. How much opera did you like?
Probably more than mine.
I love opera, and I know opera, of course. I'm Italian, and so and for us it's easier because we understand also the text very well, mostly, because most of opera is in English. But too, and thanks to the movie, I discovered more layers of, operas. And especially I discovered behind the artist, I discovered the person that Maria was. Because I just told you, I was in Greece 1 week ago, and by chance, the window of my hotel was in front of Maria Callas Museum. And it was like unbelievable because impossible. What life is so strange. But then I realized how Maria Callas is still alive. In everyone knows her, especially in Greece and in Italy too. But they don't know the woman. They know the icon, the artist, and so was for me. And now I know very, very well a person.
Wow.
Really, totally.
No, I'm American. Different relationships. I have more to learn, but I was taken to the opera a few times growing up, and I didn't understand or I think absorb it the way. But I recognized it as a very different art form. I could feel it differently. I knew that. I knew that it was something more than the art forms I had known and that I had studied. It was something else, and it was another. But no, I had to really get to know it. And I think one of the things that is important to Pablo and was important to Maria is she didn't want opera to be elitist. She wanted it to be perfect. She wanted to be. She was a perfectionist. She loved it. She was a technician, but she wanted to. She was excited for there to be pieces that were popular and for people to come and enjoy it. She wasn't trying to make more distance, and she didn't want it to be just this elitist art form, which it's not, and it's not how it started. So I think Pablo was very conscious of that he wanted the film to say, not, well, this is a film, and if you don't know opera, he wanted you all now know more opera than you did a few hours ago, maybe, and maybe you like it. Maybe there's parts of it you're going to explore, and it's for you to enjoy. And there are things within the film that if you know opera, maybe you'll watch it a second time, you'll see that there's a reason why each piece shows up exactly when it does. Because, as he says, she's like the sum of her tragedies that she played. So there's a reason why each is exactly where it is in the narrative. But really, I think it's something just to listen to more, to allow more into our lives. It's extraordinary, and it lifts you somewhere that not all music does.
Wow. That note.
Mm.
Thank you.